Welcome back, everybody. Big news today. The jury has found for Johnny Depp in his defamation case against Amber Heard for a total of $8.35 million. Now, you might be asking yourself, Ryan, I saw in the headlines that it was $15 million. Well, a lot of the reporting that you're reading is wrong. That's what we're going to talk about today. As always, if you're enjoying the content, give a like to the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. As always, we start with a lawyer joke. Do you know how you stop a lawyer from drowning? You shoot him before he hits the water. Now, we have two areas to talk about today in analyzing this jury verdict a little bit. We're not going to go too long. The first is we're going to talk about the offset, and we're going to talk about caps on punitive damages. These are both something that most of the reporting that I'm seeing is missing. The second thing that we're going to talk about is the appeals process and post-judgment negotiations. Again, something that almost all of the reporting that I have seen is missing. First thing we're going to talk about is the cap on punitive damages and the offsets. First, we have three numbers in play. We have $10 million. That's what the jury found as the compensatory damages for Johnny Depp. What does that mean? That means that Amber Heard's defamation actually caused $10 million worth of damages to Johnny Depp. That's a lot of money. However, for Johnny Depp, who's a multi-millionaire, super successful actor, $10 million is probably a pretty reasonable estimate, I would say. Now, we have $5 million of punitive damages for Johnny Depp awarded against Amber Heard. What does that mean? Punitive damages are to punish. That's exactly what the name means. And it's awarded in case of a defendant is doing something particularly blameworthy, particularly bad. For example, a lack of remorse. For example, continued lies to try to cover it up. Various other exacerbating circumstances that the jury feels that the defendant ought to be punished above and beyond the actual amount of damages that their conduct has caused. So that's the $5 million. Then we have $2 million that's awarded to Amber Heard in compensation for her claims. So the jury actually found that some of her counterclaims had merit. However, the jury found that Johnny Depp's actions against Amber Heard only damaged her in the amount of $2 million, whereas Amber Heard's actions against Johnny Depp damaged him in the amount of $10 million. So that 10 and that 2 offset. Now you have $8 million in compensatory damages that Amber Heard owes to Johnny Depp. Now let's talk about the $5 million in punitives. Virginia has a cap on punitive damages of $350,000. That means if your jury finds that you get punitive damages in the amount of $1 million, billion, trillion dollars, you still get $350K. That's it. No mas. The end. Go home. If the jury finds you get $351,000, you get $350. If the jury finds you get $500,000, you get $350. If the jury finds you have $10 million, you get $350. You get the picture. The punitive damages are capped. Hence, it's not $15 million that we're starting with. It's $10,350 minus the 2 awarded back to Amber. Hence, 8.35. The second thing we're going to talk about today is post-judgment appeals. Now, in the U.S., we have a multi-layered court system where you have the trial court. That's what just happened. You have the trier of fact, be that the judge, the jury, whoever, depending upon the circumstances. Then you have appeals courts, usually a couple of layers of appeals courts at the state level, plus some federal appeals courts. Now, in this case, Amber Heard's attorneys will almost certainly appeal to the state appellate court and say, listen, the trial judge got point of law X wrong, the trial judge instructed the jury incorrectly, the trial judge excluded this evidence or excluded that evidence. And remember back to all of those rulings on hearsay, those are all questions of law. So if Amber Heard's team says, hey, we think these 20 rulings on hearsay that the judge made at the trial court were incorrect and would have changed the outcome of the trial, they can tie it up in appeals court for a really, really long time. Not uncommon. Happens all the time. Happens in nearly every big money trial. There will more than likely be a settlement while the case is in appeals. Now, why is the $8.35 million still relevant if they're just going to appeal it and settle it for less? Well, because it represents a starting point for negotiations. Because with the $8.35 million, the jury has put a pin on the map, has told the lawyers really, this is where y'all are going to start negotiations from. You're not going to start it from $2 million. You're not going to start it from $50 million. You're not going to start it from $10 million for Amber. You're going to start it from 8.35 for Johnny Depp. So that kind of sets a window of negotiation, and yeah, maybe he'll get something around there from her. Hopefully that provides you a little bit more context so that you can kind of filter out some of the bad reporting on this. Until next time, take care, guys. Thanks for tuning in.